Hmm.
Sorry, I was just
I tried to knock, but Hunter got a C in speech.
It looks like he didn't do his last presentation.
He said that you weren't here.
A personal matter.
Well, he told me he was out the day you presented those projects. We all have personal matters to deal with sometimes.
There, B.
That's not what I wanted.
Then, what did you want?
Excuse me?
When you came in here, what did you want?
I want to know why my son got it.
My husband shot himself in the head last Thursday.
I hadn't heard.
No, because it's a personal matter. So yeah. Oh, you want an A. All right. Ta-da!
A B is fine.
B it is.
And that's how you deal with a Karen.
You didn't have to do that.
Nah, it's the goddamn life I've ever heard one. Paying it back, that's all.
I can't hear you. Is that me?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who else would it be?
That's what I want to know.
I mean, from everything you told me, you didn't really give him any reason to roam. I mean, how'd you know he even took those pictures? You okay, Pete?
Do you guys believe in ghosts?
Ghosts like how?
Really?
Well, I mean, I don't not believe.
I think there's something in my house. Like a presence.
But who knows, right? I mean, who's to say what happens once we shovel off this mortal coil? What dreams may come?
No.
Are you really gonna cheer me up with the suicide soliloquy?
Oh my god. Oh my god, I didn't.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Did he leave a note? Okay.
Sheesh.
She
No.
wants to talk about
I
it.
think we're done. I think that it's time we get you home.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to keep him waiting.
Okay.
I died back in Tennessee. Did I tell you that story? Friend was driving and we flipped over the side of a mountain. Heart stopped. Whole deal. 4 minutes. You were right. There is nothing.
Hey! Hey!
It's a dream.
Can I help?
A house. Right, I'm just being silly. I thought I saw something, so if you don't mind.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Sorry? What? What the fuck is this?
How should I know?
Bullshit, you were trying to keep me out of the woods.
Because I'm worried about you. I only saw him wandering around out there in the middle of the night from time to time.
What? And you didn't tell me?
He asked me not to.
Mm.
He had a woman with him. I thought it was you, so I called out, and when she turned,
It wasn't. What did he say?
that he had urges he was rightfully ashamed of, that he was trying to shake. Seemed good after that. You both seemed so good.
Well, I guess you were wrong.
He left a hole in your life. You're closer to death than you've ever been.
Well, that's not exactly true.
Yep. Hmm.
There are pictures of you on his phone. He's dead.
What?
Just in case you had any dates planned.
It wasn't like that.
Ponytail. Lose it. Take it down.
Why?
Well, because you slept with my husband and I'm asking you nicely.
I didn't.
Do you believe her?
What, about them not fucking?
Yeah.
Not being clear, he had a secret life. Are you really gonna stand there and lecture me about it? His posthumous right to privacy?
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hey!
Sorry, I didn't think you were home.
I'm home.
I don't think I should be here.
How did you know where to go?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, I've been here before. I told you I didn't sleep with your husband.
Yeah, you can use his name. He wasn't my husband to you.
Right. Well, I meant it. I kissed him. He kissed me back, and I didn't stop him when he put his hands on my neck until he started squeezing.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
But in the end, he said he knew what he had to do. He had to end it for good. Clearly felt guilty about cheating on you. That's what he was talking about, right?
Oh.
I miss you so much. Hold me. Hold me.
Hmm.
Owen.
No. I'm not Owen.
Hmm. Hmm.
You left
What?
the night we met. I'm what you felt when your heart stopped.
No. I felt.
Nothing.
What did you do to my husband?
I whispered in his ear over and over to send you back.
Hmm.
He tricked you.
For a while.
Where is he?
Gone. There is nothing. Let go. Come back to me.
What happened?
What is it? There's nothing there.
Hmm.
I know.
All right, so we have migrated to the
other recording room.
the proper recording room. What we did in the living room was a makeshift.
All right, recording room prime.
There you go. Yeah, but yes, we have just finished the Night House.
Mhm. And it's too profound for us to not do a review of it.
It was interesting.
Yes, indeed.
It was a unique take on several different genres. It was like a murder mystery, psychological, horror.
Definitely.
It was that thing where like you don't know what's real, like if it's in their head.
Yes, that is something that I was wondering while watching this because of dream sequences,
Mhm.
of whether they were actually happening
Right.
or if they were all in her head.
Yeah.
And, well, the mirror at the end indicated, no, this is actually happening.
That's what I liked about it was like not only was it profound in its own way, but it did a really good job at unfolding the story
Yes.
in a way that, you know, what was real, what wasn't real. And it did a good job of giving us breadcrumbs, you know, this here and then this here and then this here. But it did it in a way that wasn't so expository. Like there was not like exposition, like, oh, he built this other house and it's backwards and he made mazes and he brought women there and he tried, you know, it gave you the information. But it was more like show, don't tell.
A way of telling the story without insulting the audience, of having to say,
Yeah.
this is what happened, this is what didn't happen, etc.
Yeah. You know, like
This is what it means, this is what it doesn't mean.
like our hand was being held, but we weren't being like spoon fed everything, you know, which I appreciated. And I like that it was so ambiguous. Up until the end, really.
Yes.
You know, like you said, the part with the mirror. That's when you're like, okay, something.
At least some of it is actually, it turns out that all of it is
Yeah.
real.
Because even when she finds all those bodies, you know, under the floor, we're wondering, okay, is he protecting her? Or is he fucking crazy?
Yes, that is one thing that I did think about. That yes, she is coming up with these conclusions in her head, but let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, I know what it looks like, but you don't know the whole story.
Exactly.
How do you know whether or not you're simply conjecturing?
Right. And they also did a good job writing in a way. Also, this was written by the same people who did Super Dark Times, which we haven't seen. I think we should watch. And this was directed by David Bruckner, who did The Ritual, which was fantastic. He did Southbound, also fantastic. I think he was part of the first VHS. And I first heard of him in 2007 when he did The Signal, which I still own on DVD. And he's doing the new Hellraiser, so I am a lot less wary than I was. He's a competent director for sure. They did a good job of not just questioning the narrative. We've seen stuff like Joker where we have the unreliable narrator.
Mhm.
You know, how much of that really actually happened and how much is that him glorifying his own story to make himself self-conjecture. So there's that doubt. And then they also place the doubt in everyone around her. You know, I was convinced that her friend, that was Claire, knew more than she was like, because she was like, just let it go. Just let it go. Just like she was almost going on too strong. So I was like, are you caring friend? Or do you know something that you're not saying? Granted, it was the former, thankfully. But, you know, with her neighbor that she saw and then with Madeline, things weren't always as they seemed. So I like that they planted those seeds there so you doubt everyone else that you come in contact with. And I thought for sure that the friend had some kind of like, she knew more than she was letting on, or...
That I didn't get.
She
seemed like what you said, simply a very concerned friend.
And she was. I think they'd done such a good job of making everyone else, you know, Madeline, there was more to her story. And then with the neighbor, there was more to his story. And she would go...
Yes. For example, when he said that he saw something and didn't say anything to her
Right.
until she confronted him, well, maybe, yes, I can see how maybe he wasn't the only one that is keeping something from her.
When Madeline was like, no, I didn't sleep with your husband, comma, but, ...
But there was this peculiar behavior of his.
Yeah. So then when Claire was doing the normal friend stuff, like, you know, just don't dig any deeper. She was really hammering that home. Don't dig any deeper. Let the Owen that you knew be the Owen that you remember. It was almost like she was like, don't dig any deeper.
Yes.
And I was like,
well,
so
I can see that she would be concerned because, well, yes, many people have secret lives,
Mm.
but at the same time, she's in. The main character is still in grief.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So she's extremely sensitive to anything that happens. And well, maybe being revealed that her late husband had a secret life now may not be the good time.
yeah, exactly. But it was just a good job of misdirection,
Yes, and
I like that.
I actually understand it from the main character's side that, well, now that she knows about this, how can she not go deeper into this?
Yeah.
How can she simply pretend to be ignorant of everything? That the person that she knew may not be that person. So,
I mean,
does she remember a
yeah.
lie, or is it the real him?
like,
Which is it?
and also the fact that she's finding like books on the occult. She's finding like these statues, these effigy things. It's not like she doesn't have no cause. I'm using too many like double negatives. So I was like, what? But she has a cause to dig deeper. You know, there's probable cause here that something, some fuckery is going on. But now the friend doesn't understand that all the way. She just thinks that she's grieving and projecting, and what naturally you would.
And of course, drinking, so there's
Yeah.
also the possibility that maybe she's thinking that she's hallucinating.
Yeah, exactly. Because not only was she grieving, she was confused and angry, on top of being sad. You know, because she didn't, say, I miss you, until like hour and a half into the movie. Because she was like, she buried it under this, and understandably so, If one of us did that to the other, I just imagine how, like, we'd be sad, but we'd be so confused.
Yes.
Like, what happened? Why did this happen? Like, and then we leave a note, like, that's such an esoteric note.
Yes, usually suicide notes actually explain why the event is happening. Instead, this one had a cryptic message.
Yeah. And I like the idea of the wordplay. You were right. Nothing is chasing you.
Exactly,
yeah. Nothing.
Read very carefully the line, and then you'll see that, yes, the note is telling the truth, but not in a way that you may at first think.
So when she said, what happened when you died? She was dead for 4 minutes. I saw nothing. She literally saw nothing. And it wanted her back.
Think of the void,
Mhm.
nothingness,
Yeah.
the darkness from which all things came from. And with death, we then return back to it. And this nothingness, well, it's bringing us back to it.
What's also that notion, if you stare into the void long enough, the void will stare back at you, kind of thing too. Because when she went back, or whatever, it had like these like blue and red, almost eyes that was looking at her. Like, it was just, I like also that they never gave it a definitive body, and that it didn't have a definitive shape. It was like made up of architecture
Yes.
in the house, or it was using her husband as a conduit in the boat.
Yes, especially since, well, it's nothingness. It's an excellent way to portray the character without giving it definite form, because so that it doesn't compromise the idea of what it actually is.
Exactly, yeah. So it's still nothing, just in these various forms. I just like that it never had like a boogeyman kind of vibe to it, and they did a really good job of presenting it in a way that was also esoteric.
Yes.
And also when she sees it in the architecture, is that in her head? Are these things just lining up just so that if you look at them at the right angle?
Pareidolia.
Exactly, yeah. Is that what she's going through? Or, what happened? So it did a good job of like subverting expectations, but also building the story around, this thing that had been chasing her. Like, imagine what the husband had been going through. You're with someone, and then something starts whispering in your ear. Because nothing said, I whispered over and over into his ear to send you back. And then it slowly starts like making you.
As if somehow it was supposed to be, from its point of view, destiny that she was supposed to return to it.
Yeah.
The nothingness from which we come from and which we are destined to return to.
I called it a very fucked up Final Destination. story. So it's just like looking at it from his point of view, like, holy crap, to kill, to be a serial killer in the name of love. It's like, wow. Like, he did all of that to protect her. He built that house. He built it backwards. He tried to make a maze to trap and confuse, not trap, but like confuse and trick.
It's one thing that I suspected it to be. It made a reference to Celtic mazes, but it also reminded me of the story of the Labyrinth and the Minotaur, in which the purpose of this thing is not necessarily to keep people out, but to keep what is in there in.
Right. Yeah. Because she was reading from the Kyrdrea?
I'm assuming that that's what its Celtic name is.
Yeah.
Because
that I just butchered.
When I saw the picture of it, yes, I saw that, yes, this is a Celtic art form of what is usually referred to as a labyrinth.
Yeah. Kyrdrea? I'm sorry. I'm horrible at pronouncing things. But yeah, it was a really, kind of a cool way to take like Celtic lore and, mythology and weave it in to the story.
Yes, and showing that he was also willing to go through anything that may seem rather unusual or may seem like, oh, is this thing going to work or is this superstitious nonsense? And well, maybe rationally he would say, well, of course it probably won't do anything. But emotionally, desperate times, desperate measures.
Yeah. Especially if something's whispering in your ear for years. 14 years they were together? Holy hell. Imagine having something whispering in your ear for 14 years to send, like, if whatever demon is leeching off of me starts whispering to you, let me know. We will work on it together.
A team project.
One way of putting it, yes. A team project.
That actually sounds sweet.
Don't go crazy and then, take your own life because something told you to kill me.
The void of darkness that is nothingness will take what it wants. But at the same time, it doesn't appear to be calling me in any way whatsoever. Besides, I shouldn't have to, because eventually everything goes to it. Ever heard of a thing called patience, nothingness?
Not the romantic answer I was looking for, but I'll take it. You can't stop. You can't stop nothing.
And, well, actually, it's true, because nothing is nothing.
Exactly, yeah. It is what it is.
Oh, I really don't like that phrase. But I do understand the similarity of it being a tautology, because it is a tautology.
Exactly, yep.
But it does also make it a very formidable foe. How do you confront or try to defeat nothing?
Celtic magic.
With a hint of voodoo, apparently.
Exactly, yes. With the doll. Or not the doll, but the, statue thingy. It was essentially a voodoo doll. A very cool looking one, though.
Oh, yes.
I would have that in our house in a heartbeat. It looked awesome.
It's actually a little closer to what they're really supposed to be. In the tradition, they aren't used to hurt people. They're actually supposed to be used sort of like an amulet to protect the person. It's supposed to be a protective thing, not some sort of sinister, destructive thing.
Right.
So at least in that sense, actually, yes, it did get the horror factor, classic occult things. When she opened the book, I immediately saw that there was a sigil at the bottom of one of the pages, which did catch my attention that, all right, apparently he was also an occultist. But what does that prove?
Yeah. But we found out because they fed it to us in a way that was able to be digested, but also left it open-ended until it wasn't anymore.
Should we go to the notes?
Yeah, we can.
Philip's notes.
Not much to talk about. I just want to talk about the aspects. I don't want to go through, like, scene for scene or anything.
Yes, there were some that really did stick out.
Like the awkward parent-teacher moment. My son Hunter got to see, well, he was, he said he could make it up. Well, you weren't here that day. I was like, ooh, good scene, though. I like the actress a lot. I thought she did a good job of being, like, no nonsense. And, like, I'll reference it later in the notes. I like how they wrote her character, not how she played the character that was written. Thought she did a really good job.
I remember she wanted to get to the point, why are you here?
Hey, do you want an A? Bam, there you go. And then she was out with her colleagues for some drinks, and they were talking about it and asking her some really inappropriate questions, I thought. I mean, I get being curious, but, you know, there's a time and a place. I don't know if that was the time or the place.
Yes, usually when people go out to drink, it's that they can have a festive and jolly time, not to make themselves feel worse.
Man, not everybody. They're like, do you leave a note? Yes, I left a note. And the one lady says, you keep it in your purse? And I'm like, what business is it of yours where she keeps her damn husband's suicide note? Maybe she wants it on her. Maybe she wants it close to her. Mind your
a bit of her way of a sort of security blanket that can help her as she moves on to get closure.
I was like, just mind your own business. I get that, she was okay with sharing, but I was a little like, who cares where she keeps it? And then the other guy was like, she keeps being woken up by the music playing, by things banging around and all of that stuff. I've been getting out my phone and recording everything for proof. That's what I would have done.
I actually wondered if I were in that situation, I'd somehow press record and see if I could catch anything as I was sleeping. Then maybe, am I sleepwalking? Is this sleep paralysis?
Which they brought up, yeah. Like I thought the concept of reverse sleep paralysis, basically sleepwalking. Mm-hmm. But the idea, I thought was a cool, again, a duality. There was a lot of duality, yes. Reversal of things, which I think they were hinting towards.
Which, yes, we have names for those things, but as for why these things happen, it's actually still very much a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so conclusive as you would like it to be so that you can sleep better at night.
Exactly. And then she's on the dock. She sees the footprints. She's like, is that you? And I wrote, she's handling all of this very well. There's a lot being thrown at her right now. She was like, yep, this is what's happening at face value.
Maybe it helps that she is intoxicated throughout much of the film.
Maybe.
That she's able to simply accept these things. You know what, why not?
And then she finds the pictures on the phone. Then she gets his laptop out. And I wrote, I was like, this is unfolding nicely. Because I thought it was just doing, like I said before, the breadcrumbs. It was doing a really good job of giving us those. This is when I started to doubt everyone. Because the neighbor was like, come on over for lunch. I'll make sandwiches. I was like, maybe he knows something and wants to poison her with sandwiches. Don't trust anyone. And then as I talked about, the friend says, stop going through his stuff. She's like, he had a secret life. Does he have like some posthumous right to privacy? Which it's paraphrasing, but I was like, that's a really cool notion. Like, just because you're dead, do you have some right to like respect the dead? Well, where does that line stop?
It's a good question that now that person's dead, everything that person left behind is actually up for grabs to be exposed to the world if it's found.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where I stand with it. And this is when I figured it out. After that, I wrote everything that happened. And I wrote, I hope the payoff to this build is good. Because it was such a good build.
And it was in a way that's believable.
Yes. Then, she's having this moment with her husband, and you see the really well done. And then, Owen, is that you? No, I'm not Owen. I was like, she just got violated by a ghost. Or violated by nothing. Wait, they're coming to find out. And then it's over. Claire helps her get out of the boat and back to the shore, and the neighbor is there. And then she's looking at the boat, and we see the silhouette of nothing sitting in the boat. And that's how I wrote. I was like, won't it still haunt her?
I actually like it that it ended that way, that it's an open-ended ending.
I also like that the very last line, what is it? There's nothing there. I know.
Perfect line to end the scene.
Well done. And those are all for my notes. Everything else are for my patrons over on Patreon. I enjoyed this movie.
So did I, immensely.
Yeah, nice blend of all those things I said in the beginning. I was 100% engaged the entire time.
I also liked it that it was a horror, but one that didn't have to rely so much on things like sci-fi or supernatural things, that it was a psychological horror in which that it's something that actually it could happen to somebody, or that it didn't rely too much on scenes of convenience, that then this happened. Oh, how convenient. And then this happened. Oh, how convenient.
Like I said, it kept you guessing.
Yes, it was suspenseful.
Yeah. I also like that it didn't rely on jump scares. I had a couple. See me take the headphones off my ear because it's to like shield myself. I'm like prepping for the jump scare so I don't jump and hurt myself because I'm very brittle. But it could easily have had like jump scare because it would be like, bah! Like that when the noise goes away, be it music or ambient noise, whatever, I prep, and I appreciate that it didn't do that. So another thumbs up for me on that one.
Which actually shows how extremely well done this film was made, that it doesn't have to rely on the cliche jump scares to simply keep people interested in the story.
It didn't rely on cliche anything really much. It also helped, like I said, that it was all these different movies in one movie, so it could kind of play with the different ideas without adhering to one set style and going through the motions.
It isn't restricting itself.
Yeah, it's not giving itself boundaries. It has all these different things it could pull from, and I think it showed in the way it was presented and shot, and really well paced. Really well paced. Yeah, I would recommend it. Thumbs up for me.
I agree.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to add about this movie?
Yes, the male character had an excellent looking backside.
There you go.
They picked the perfect person to be in that pose.
From the mouths of babes. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the movie?
No.
Okay. Well, that's going to wrap this one up. This was impromptu and whatnot. So, yeah, hopefully the reactions aren't horrible. If they are, we apologize. We weren't planning on doing them, but we wanted to anyway. But that's going to wrap up this video. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.